You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
And of course, let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Yes, it's in the village with the dark triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM, folks. And we are so glad that you have joined us tonight, boy. Yeah, boy. Diana, Waveney, Benskin, McDonald, boy.
Hello.
Hello. Them people in the chat. Oh my, they're gone, Let me tell you this. Let me go back from the starter to Kisa jumping early o'clock, boy. 6:27 p.m., You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Takesha say, Lana, where? Takesha say, Lana, not tonight. You know that song say, not tonight, not tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That song say, oh, that song good. Oh, that song good, Anna. Not tonight,
I
not tonight.
I can't remember.
You can't remember. What is that one? You don't even try
Maybe I'm tired. Leave me alone now.
You get that right. Lana, Takesha jumping early, boy. And Lana watching, Lana see 6:32. Lana said, nah, Takesha, you ain't gonna pip me. Or you pip, P-I-P. Pip, pip. You ain't gonna pip me, eh?
Oh Lord, let's
Lana jumping.
not skate
Marissa
in the
jumping.
house.
Marissa the night.
Wait, we
Of
have a
course.
new person here, Anthony Badur.
Yeah, but
Welcome.
of course.
Welcome. Never seen him before.
But you know, Diana, I don't know. They say, I learned this from the chat. Lana says, PM said, his friend going on another platform and talking nonsense about he. So he blocked him on Facebook. I don't know this.
Yeah, I heard him at the news conference today. Said that, yeah.
Eh?
Yeah, a former PM. He said he's a former MP. He blocked him.
As a former MP,
Yes.
I don't think he blocked me, man. I don't think he gonna block me.
Hello, Brittany,
Marissa.
Lana, Marissa.
Nuts
cake.
Nuts cake. Where peanuts? Cheesesteak. I tell cheesesteak already. You ain't bringing any cousin breadstick, you know. You only bringing cheesesteak. I'm gonna see where's boy. Where Wallafield nuts?
Yeah, because we have a new person here, Anthony Badur. Yes, Bahadur.
Yeah.
Y'all behave yourself. We have a new person visiting the village. Behave yourself.
I'm glad,
Hello,
boy. I'm glad we ain't see him.
hello, Miss Roberts. Hello, Miss Roberts, Vonnie Roberts, Melissa Phillips.
Yeah,
Hello, everyone.
We ain't see Run DMC. That is a good thing.
Oh Lord, and Wolf. Yeah. Oh jeez.
And Wolverine. Yeah, we ain't see Wolverine either. I feel Cheesesteak and them did something with him. Cheesecake and Nuts Cake and Lana. Brittany, welcome. Brittany in the house, boy.
It's gonna go downhill when the two of them come on board.
Yeah, as soon as them come out. Raj V, welcome. It's downhill after that, you know. Downhill. Yeah,
don't worry,
I have
the cookie broom. Yeah, I have the cookie broom nearby.
Yeah, it is. Steve Trini Lopez, welcome, boy.
Gary, what's going on?
All your in the chat. Let me say a warm welcome to Anthony
Bahadur.
Say welcome to Anthony Bahadur. Let's say welcome Anthony into the village.
Everybody say hello to Anthony.
Say hello to Anthony. Anthony, welcome in the village, man. We as well was more welcome to everybody, man. All send a hello to Anthony in the village, man.
Say good night to Anthony.
The two best tonight we supposed to have is Wendell's Eversley. But I don't know if you could take Dan Joseph advice and decide not to come. You never know. And Darius Figueira, a well-known criminologist in Trinidad and Tobago, well, in the Caribbean. Right? Always say hello to Anthony, please. Hello.
No, what happened? Nobody ain't saying hello to Anthony?
Yeah, where's that one?
Yeah.
Where's that one? Melissa, welcome.
Oh, Lord, look, Ron here. Oh, Lord.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. He coming?
Yeah, he's there.
Oh, God.
Trouble
start. Look, oh, God, look, trouble now. Hey, Ulrich, Ulrich, we ain't seen Ulrich at all since Ron coming. Ulrich run.
Not skate said Darius is good.
Yeah, Darius is good. Darius, you only bringing good people in here, boy. Yeah, we had to put up the
Ron start with the pouting face already. What's going on, Ron?
We had to put the one-on-one with Mariano Brown that went wrong.
Where he said my question was silly.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, you're just coming. You're supposed to say hello to Anthony, boss. Come on. You're wasting time, you know. We ain't wasting no time in the village. We have a very important person coming in the village called Darius Figueira. So we don't want to waste time. You know what I mean?
He calling himself
business here.
The president of the village.
Ron,
Hello, Vonnie Roberts. If I didn't say good night to you, Melissa. Hello, Steve Trini Lopez. Hello, good night, good night.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting here on. Who I forget?
You say hello to Anthony. Run. Like he can't even type. All right, folks.
Yeah.
Let's don't wait any longer. Let's quickly do this. Hold on. I want to do something real quick here. All right. Let's bring in our number one, our guest for tonight. No other than the well-renowned criminologist, Mr. Darius Figueira. Did I pronounce that good, sir?
Yes, yes, sir. Good night.
Yeah,
Good
we want to
night,
welcome
good
you.
night.
We want to welcome you, of course, with us. It's in the village with the dark triplets, right? And we call ourselves DAG, that's Diana Benskin, right? And then we have with us the Phantom. Somehow he doesn't show his face, but he is Gary. So it's Diana, I am Anselm, and G is Gary. And we also have a fourth person who we call the outside child, and the ladies in the chat call him the love child. So he hasn't joined us as yet, but he will join us very soon. How are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm holding on in my old age.
Well, let me tell you, Mr. Figueira, you have a book called Cocaine and Heroin Traffic in the Caribbean, and you dedicate that book to what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago. You also have other books called Jihad in Trinidad and Tobago, January 27, 1990. You have the Al-Qaeda Discourse of the Greater Kafir, right? You have Tribal, Uriah Butler of Trinidad and Tobago, and Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. And you have had many other fantabulous books that you have written in the past, right? But the reason why we decided that, we like to bring people into the village so they could educate the people that we have here on WZYE 95.9 FM in the village. And we felt that you will be a great person to come into the village and kind of give us a background about crime in Trinidad and Tobago, especially when we talk about the drug ring in Trinidad and Tobago, and if there's anything the government can absolutely do, to stem the tide of drugs in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, the first thing we must understand is that the illicit trades evolve. People speak about the illicit drug trade as if it stands still in time, failing to understand that it constantly evolves. So right now we are in the fourth incarnation in the Caribbean of the evolution of the Caribbean drug trade. It's a whole new business model that has been established, and we are seeing the impact of that business model on Trinidad and Tobago. Because remember, 2017, 18, and 19 were in fact the bloodiest years in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, from colonial to neo-colonial times.
Correct.
And then suddenly, in 2020, you started to see a change being manifested as this gun violence and this bloodlust started to taper and started to reduce itself. And everybody was jumping up and saying, well, it's the COVID, it's the COVID. But failing to understand that there were other islands in the Caribbean that in 2020, under the COVID, the violence escalated. I refer to Jamaica and I refer to the US Virgin Islands.
Correct.
And then on the June 30th, 2020, with the Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago got the message that the new order was on the ground and it was in charge, where we had demonstrators moving freely through sections of gangland that were supposed to be at war with each other. And demonstrators were organized and moving through this so-called conflict zone, free, unhindered, no violence, nobody to stop them. One flowing space unified in an expression against police brutality. And since then, the bloodlust has literally disappeared. And in 2021, the homicide rate to date in Trinidad and Tobago is even lower than 2020. And 2020 was a record. So
but it's not due to COVID-19? Could you say that is due to COVID-19 at this point in time?
But in the aftermath of June 30th, 2020, leaders in gangland indicated to Trinidad and Tobago that there was now a truce.
Right.
And in spite of repeated efforts by certain elements to restart the war, the order has held. What is disturbing? Pardon?
Is it possible that the gang leaders are now looking at economics and seeing how they can start to make a larger pool of money through economics rather than killing each other?
Well, under the new order, your first aim is to maximize profits and generate wealth.
Correct.
So the old model where it was catch as catch can and kill in an attempt that one individual must rule as an emperor. This new order is under the control of the most powerful transnational organized crime organization that has ever arisen in the history of the illicit trades of the Western Hemisphere. So that means that this discipline is so rigidly enforced, and the wealth that you generate because of the availability of product, the extensive nature of the organization's networks and pipelines, especially to Europe, United States of America, and Asia. There is no need for you to waste your precious time killing each other and remaining poor.
Correct.
It is time now to earn money and to invest in your community. Because remember, in Trinidad, gangland commanding extensive spaces of the east-west corridor in Trinidad and Tobago. You have some of the worst, but not uniquely to east-west corridor, of underdevelopment.
Correct.
So you are under the control of gangland, but your people are suffering from underdevelopment. So what then is your use and purpose?
Mr. D, the influx of Venezuelans into Trinidad and Tobago, would you say that also has an impact on the criminal element?
No, but amongst the mass of Venezuelans, we must understand, the two primary destination points in the Caribbean island chain for Venezuelan migrants is first the Dominican Republic and second Trinidad and Tobago. And part of that migration had to do with migrants on the move seeking work within the old order, the old displaced order. And they came to Trinidad and they were looking to establish their presence in Trinidad and Tobago and to continue the business that they left in Venezuela and was squeezed out, because the same order I'm speaking about is also now dominant in Venezuela. And they were also put in their place. They were also disciplined, because you come and you cannot expect to replicate in Trinidad and Tobago an old business model that failed. And that was the reason for the violence in Trinidad and Tobago. So they were also disciplined.
So, Mr. D, someone says, I think you answered this question. Will you say crime has gone up due to COVID-19? I think you answered that question.
COVID-19 has impacted, well, you know, in the crime in Trinidad and Tobago and in all societies, you know, there's a hierarchy. And COVID has impacted that aspect of crime that concentrated upon easy access to individuals so that you can victimize. So with the lockdown and the curfew now and things like that, you have to go out and find them in their homes. So that is why we have had now the increase in home invasions, home break-ins and things like that. So that is how it has affected the dynamic. But what we have seen under COVID since 2020 is that if you so wanted to kill, it did not stop you from continuing the gangland wars, if you so desired.
So another person says, is this gentleman speaking about Parliament? He said something about gangland. I think that's a pun, Mr. Figueira. I think that's a pun.
Yeah, that is an area we can also look at.
Why don't we? Yeah, you know. But I wanted to get back to one thing real quick. With respect to the gangs, right? They have come together, but in order for them to get economic development, doesn't it have to involve the government of Trinidad and Tobago? Because the all kind of... Go ahead.
You see, one of the myths, the political myths circulated in Trinidad and Tobago is that gangland thrives and survives on government largesse and patronage. And what we have to understand, you have to answer them and say, which gangland? Now remember, the genesis of modern gangland in Trinidad and Tobago occurred in the second half of the 1990s. And that new gangland that appeared in the second half of the 1990s appeared in response to a Colombian business model in which the Colombians were now willing to sell you kilo bricks. So,
wait,
kilo bricks?
Mr. Figueira, what is kilo bricks, you said?
Cocaine.
Oh, okay, all right.
You say kilo bricks.
Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, you know, so that's why you're a criminologist. Right, so go ahead.
So the dons of gangland, the first dons that appeared in gangland in Trinidad and Tobago in the 1990s did not appear because of 𝗧𝘂𝗲𝘆 and Jude and these programs. They became dons in spite of these programs. And what happened in the 1990s, the second half of the 1990s and thereafter, the power of these individuals on the ground, especially in the East-West corridor, is that the politicians, in many instances, had no choice but to dance
with them, to dance with them.
So the So the government contracts and the 𝗧𝗋 and the dude and whatever, that was an attempt to harness them into a political relationship through patronage. But they didn't need government contracts to make their money. They were in the business. They were, as we say, in the game. So it is the trade that created them and the trade that kept them going. And when the government, successive governments danced with them, it gave them enhanced power on the ground because they were now dispensing patronage to the people on the ground.
So they're giving them jobs now then. They're giving them jobs. They're offering them jobs.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so people are now coming to you for jobs.
So when you think you was trying to control them, you basically promote them to be bigger dons in the community. They became bigger, right?
Yes. And then the next stage in the whole evolution was utilizing them now as part of your political mobilization for your election campaigns.
Correct. Wow. Interesting. Yeah.
So it had a time they were looking like if they were willing to go down the Jamaican model road. But you see, Trinidad and Tobago is a different politics from Jamaica, and Trinidad is the politics of race.
But what model was that in Jamaica? What was the model in Jamaica?
Well, you know, the old Jamaican model that came in the 1960s with independence is where you embrace Jamaican gangland as part of your militia to mobilize the voters. So you create these constituencies that in Jamaica in those days you call them garrison constituencies, where you will literally have a militia patrolling your political boundaries in that constituency and engaging with the other party, whether it be JLP or PNP, militarily for control of political space.
Was 𝗬𝗏𝘃𝗃 one of them? 𝗬𝗏𝘃𝗃 in Jamaica, was he one of them?
Yes, Darius was one of the biggest.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. But we didn't go down that road in Trinidad and Tobago.
No, we couldn't, because in Trinidad and Tobago is the politics of race.
Right.
So that is the limitations to their relevance to the politics. But you see, in Trinidad and Tobago, in the politics of Trinidad and Tobago, you have this discord between people who live in these marginalized urban areas, especially predominantly African people, and the politicians. So the politicians have this very I'm trying to find a very kind word, but I will go back to Fano. I'll go back to Fano, to the father. They have a worldview out of hallucinatory whiteness, and they have this very tenuous relationship with this urban marginalized African voter base that they have. So they are constantly looking for persons who could broker this group and control this group. My personal point of view is because they have this fear of this urban African living in these areas, which they inherited from Massa.
Right. So is that why many parties come into power and they keep these urban communities so subservient and underdeveloped?
Because the fact of the matter is that, remember, we inherit the east-west corridor marginalized urban sprawl, especially what we call behind the bridge, East Dry River, etc. We inherited that from the colonial overlord on the 31st of August, 1962. And as a people who says we have now become independent, we have never invested in these areas to erase that marginality that we inherited from Massa.
Now, Mr. Figueira,
because
isn't that
it
because...
serves the politics.
Okay,
the
there
politics
you go.
of race.
All right, okay. Yeah, because I was going to ask you that question. Okay, so you answered it. There you go.
So when you look at the resources that you put into the education system in these areas, into the infrastructure in these areas, the social services in these areas, there is no intention to recognize that these areas, there must be a bias in favor of to remove a specific effect of colonial underdevelopment that went on under colonial domination. And then you always blame the people.
Right. You know, Mr. Figueira, it's interesting that you say that, right? When you look at around by the Dry River, like I went to Calvary Catholic School up the hill. I remember Piccadilly School. Piccadilly School is closed, right? I remember, I think Bethlehem is closed. I remember St. Philip's. St. Philip's is closed. You know, you look at all these schools in these urban communities and you closing down schools. And what people have to do now, instead of if I live in John and I going right to St. Philip's, I could walk to school, right? If I live in Laventille and I'm going to Piccadilly, I could walk to school. You know, if I live in the area close to Bethlehem, I could walk to school. Now, they have to transport me from John to maybe a school all the way in Belmont. So that means now, my parents have to wake up earlier in order to either get me on a bus or to get me in a car or to get me in a maxi. So what you are doing is that with all the other mental stress that I'm going through, you are adding more mental stress to me by doing me these things when you're supposed to be making it easier for me, but you are making it more difficult for me.
Precisely. And then you have a whole other series of mitigating factors that contribute to a situation where you continue to reinforce the arrested development that was placed on our ancestors by colonial domination.
Precisely.
So there was no approach which indicated that we have to be biased in favor of specific areas in Trinidad and Tobago for special development, for investment.
So, I have a question for you. This is 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝐻𝐿. In which area did the government invest in?
We just have to look at the oligarchy of Trinidad and Tobago and we will see where the investments were made. Because there isn't a single African who is in the oligarchy of Trinidad and Tobago. The last African we had in the oligarchy of Trinidad and Tobago after 2008 went bankrupt.
That was Lawrence Dupre, isn't it?
That was Dupre,
right? Yeah, that was Dupre. 𝗧𝗂𝗲𝐿 Financial. And you know, Mr. Figueira, you raise a very valid point, you know. We had a fella here in the village named Mariano Bronge, and I asked him what was the last black conglomerate in Trinidad and Tobago. And I swear that man went to dance. I thought he went to the Olympics. I thought that was a dance competition in the Olympics, and he entered the competition. If you hear the song and dance, other man dance on it, well, I don't know what black and white, I don't look at this. A simple question, you know. A simple question. Because to me, a simple question, Mr. Brown, right? What is the last black conglomerate in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, the last African-owned conglomerate is now no more, and the rest now sitting down waiting to feel at the table, to cut it up and feel at the table from what comes out from it.
We're already doing
So
that.
you have minority races in the oligarchy of Trinidad and Tobago who came here long after the Africans, and you have not a single African in the oligarchy. And that is the reality throughout the Caribbean.
And we don't have a black conglomerate in Trinidad and Tobago.
No, my brother.
It's truth to power. It's truth to power. People will be upset, and that's why when we had Mariano Brown coming here, right? The man is a very intelligent man, you know. But like, I think when he go to the bathroom, I think his stuff does smell like perfume and flowers. I think so. Whenever he go to the bathroom,
no, you can't say that about him, man.
No, it's a delusional condition. It's a delusional condition in which you live when you don't want to face the reality that the entire system, the game rigged.
It was built that way.
Yep. So you telling me after so many years under the so-called African PNM party who does preach race, right, and pro-African in the country, that the African Trinidadians suffer the worst? That is what you're saying. The worst discrimination.
But Gary, look at the Constitution alone. Look at what they did to
Diana, hold on a second. What I'm saying, right, over the years, right, even after the recent election, we saw more race talk and vote African and calling all Fitzgerald hands, calling all African brothers, and that's what me and he fall out for. I mean, how are you going to bring race into a country that is so mixed and diverse, and you have people of each race on both sides of the political end? How can you bring race into that?
But Gary, we have to be honest. Race came from both sides. We can't blame one side and say them alone was talking about race and say the other side wasn't talking about race.
But
both sides brought race to the table.
Everything went into a race thing with the PNM anthem.
No, but Gary, the UNC also put race on the table. If we are going to be honest, the UNC put both parties. I don't come here. I wouldn't come here and say, but the UNC alone was talking about race and the PNM was talking about race. No, both of them.
Hold on a second, Arthur. For the majority of our independence, the TNT was managed by a so-called pro-African party. They didn't want when Kamal was supposed to be prime minister, they didn't want no Indian prime minister. The majority at the base rioted against that. They don't want no Indian prime minister, right? And they went, I mean, this man spent his life building up the PNM together with Dr. William. What's his name? Mahabir was there, right? I mean, there were all the ideas that of shaping the country, I think, wasn't done pro-African. It was a mixture of people doing this thing, right? But when the time comes to choosing a leader, the race talk came in. So now we seeing Afro people suffering the worst under a pro-Afro party. Why? Nobody helped the Indians in Central, in the Lagoon. They had to save their money and educate their children. There was no government help for them.
Well, Gary, I wouldn't say there was no government help, because the government gave out a lot of county lands.
Governor, what? After when? After how many years?
So yeah, but you can't say there wasn't any help. No. So let me get back to Mr. Figueira. Mr. Figueira, go ahead, sir.
Let me put it in context.
Okay.
Under the PNM, in 31st of August 1962, you had white oligarchs, because that is the nature of colonial domination, right? Under the PNM, you got Indian oligarchs dominated by Muslim Indians. You got white oligarchs. You got mixed race oligarchs, and you got Arab oligarchs. All created by the PNM. In the oligarchic structure, there are more Indian Muslims than Hindus. Right? So the issue is not talking race, the issue is talking the sociology of the social structure of Trinidad and Tobago. Because a PNM government, dependent for continuous years of rule on the African and mixed race vote, that is what was created. We have to then go back to Father Fano and explain that. Because it's the same thing happened with 𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗻𝗆 in Guyana, where he ruled for years by chiefing elections, and he never created a single African oligarch. So it goes back to the plantation and the whole hallucinatory whiteness. Remember, Massa had an African on the plantation who was the driver, and he used to beat all the African and rape all the African women. And that was Massa #1 trusted most brutal psychopath on the plantation to keep all our we in line.
Well, I see African like in Trinidad right now.
Right?
But Gary, I think the point here we have to look at it there, you know, as that I always ask this question, where has the PNM ever created 1 or 2 black billionaires in Trinidad and Tobago?
None.
1 or 2.
None.
1 or 2.
None.
Come back to that, mister. Come back. Where would the PNM do?
Have the PNM ever created 1 or 2 black billionaires in Trinidad and Tobago?
You see, this is where you're wrong, Ansem. All right? This is where you're wrong, right?
What do you mean?
Depending on government to help you build something. How much government help you think?
Gary, you know the man just says, PNM government have created all different culture of oligarchies in Trinidad and Tobago. And they haven't created one black oligarchy. And as you say, but Gary, you says the PNM is a black party.
But no, this is what been preaching in the country. This is what I see happening.
No, but okay. But, so Gary, you it's okay with you if I'm a black party that I create all other races of oligarchy, but none of the people who vote to put me in power.
Between themselves.
No, but do you agree with that? I'm just asking you a question.
No,
do you agree with that?
This is what I see happen here, right? Those within the party all have themselves. Whether they were black or Indian or Chinese or whatever it is, they all have themselves. There was nothing in particular to any race or anybody outside the circle. They all have themselves.
But Gary, they have created oligarchies other than the people that put them in power.
But listen to me, the majority of the business people out there didn't get no governmental help. A man selling doubles, he's selling fish.
But Gary, we're missing the point. Gary, so Gary, the PNM been in power for 56 years, right? Name me one black oligarchy the PNM have created.
Answer, how much you think most majority of the people get government contracts to build up themselves?
No, Gary, name me one. Name me one.
Missing the point. No. I'm talking about the people who pull up themselves basically by planting the garden, planting the rice, the sugar cane or whatever it is, and educating the kids. We could not rely on PNM. We could not rely on PNM.
So Gary, what you saying is okay for them to create all those other oligarchies.
I'm not saying that. What
and
I'm saying to you
people who put you in power, you don't even give them one oligarchy. One. Just one.
Answer
1 billion, one.
The thing about it here is what you're looking for is for government to help we, and government that is not coming. That is not coming.
All right, so
in 6
so
years,
listen to this, right? Okay, so let's quickly go to the chat. Lana says, Mr. D, we're gonna get back to that about the gang, Lana, because I think you want to expand on that. Mr. D, can the old order be changed? Someone asked that question.
the
old order.
The social structure?
Well, when I think the old order, the way it was in the past, can that be changed?
Well, the sad thing about the entire Caribbean is that we got independence, but we never decolonized the mind.
Thank you.
So that is why what goes on up to today is what went on under colonial domination, including bleaching your skin.
Thank you. Talk it all.
That is so heart-rendering to see you are a politician and you walking around with your bleached skin.
Oh
God! You're going deep.
Like if 1969, 70 never happened, you have to understand I am a dinosaur from 69, 70. Like if that never happened, as if it never had shouts of power, black power. Like if Malcolm never lived. Toure, the whole pantheon. In 2021? No.
Thank you.
So that means the old order stronger than ever.
And Mr. D, I tend to agree with you, right? Because when you can, yes, you put an SOE in place. And there's a young lady that suffered tremendously. And she decided to take on the establishment and sue them because she felt that they infringed upon her constitutional right by closing the borders and locking her out. And you invoked a 1940 saved law under the old colonial and use that to rule against her. You're thinking it's still latched, your navel string is still latched to the colonial master. You're right. You're thinking Go ahead, sir.
No, because you see, our constitution is bipolar, it is schizophrenic. You come and you give us this liberal constitution that says we have rights and a Bill of Rights and everything, but you have a clause in the constitution that says that all colonial law remains intact until such time that the parliament moves to either amend it or to get rid of it. And the politicians, you think they're getting rid of anything that adds to their power? The best thing ever happened to the politicians in the Caribbean was COVID-19. Now they are wielding power on us. That has gone way past the bounds of all the British Constitution that they hand all away with independence. Now they even want to believe that they could legislate behavior change in Trinidad and Tobago. So you want to tell me you ain't like rum shop, so I go close down rum shop if all your staff like all your business.
Think it easy. So Mr. D, someone says, wasn't the truce due to police killing of 3 young men in Second Caledonia? They're talking about the truce between Rasta and Muslims and so on in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, when the leaders talk about the truth is more wide-ranging than the incident in Caledonia. The truth just express a reality on the ground of a new order. But the word of the truth came out, was deliberately released after the demonstrations that indicated to those who want to understand that this old gangland war on turf and territory, that's over.
Which I think is far from the truth.
Mr. D,
hold up. Wait. Gary had something to say. Gary, go ahead and say what you have to say.
No, what he's saying, basically what we're saying, he's trying to tell us that it's over, but it's far from the truth. Basically what I'm picking up from him. Is that what you're saying, sir? with the gang warfare, that it's over. It seems to have evolved into another level, but it's not over. Is that what you're telling us?
Gary, I'm not sure if you hear me, Mr. D. Gary is saying if the gang warfare in Trinidad is not over, it's just morphed to a different level. I hope I captured what he says.
Since June 30th, 2020, the heart of gangland in Trinidad and Tobago has gone quiet. If you look at what is going on and what people says is gangland, it is all in the periphery. And remember, gang is a generic term. Not all gangs are created equal. You have a hierarchy. So you could talk about a gang, but that gang ain't equivalent to a ruling dominant gang. Because not all created equal. And the very heart of gangland in Trinidad is now quiet, the quietest it has ever been since 2013. And that is the proof.
Does Gary Griffith have anything to do with that as commissioner of police?
No. All the leaders not locked up in the remand yard, they're all outside.
Okay.
They're all outside.
So they're basically improvising or maneuvering.
And what we have to understand is that gangland is not the trade, you know. Gangland is a part of the trade. You have those who dominate the trade and run the trade. That is not part of gangland. You have people who dominate the trade and run the trade who go into any area of gangland in Trinidad and Tobago without fear or opposition.
I have a question, Mr. D. I was a teenager in the 70s, and I became, myself late 70s. If they did exist, I never heard of them. Gangs. I could walk the street, I could take a taxi from Tunapuna and go to Port of Spain, go dance in 𝗲𝗏𝘆, walk down back to the and come home, and nobody didn't try to steal me or cut my throat. Not that I wasn't a flamboyant, good-looking lass, but I wasn't afraid that my life would be taken. How did we disintegrate into women being so fearful in the society? Where did this come from the 70s to now? Did it exist in the 70s and I just was childish and didn't know?
No, the new order came in the decade of the 90s when the Colombian business model changed. And now you got people who that is when in the 90s, that is when you got the drive to become rich. That is when you got members of people joining the oligarchy who were in the trade. In the decade of the 90s is when people got into the trade because you're buying your own kilos and you're selling your own kilos. Before, under Medellin and Cali, they didn't used to sell you their product. But when it coming in the 90s with Valley Norte, they began to sell. So that is when the violence started in Trinidad and Tobago, because anybody could get a 6 kilos and a 12 kilos and a 25 kilos, and everybody became a trafficker. And that is when gangland appeared. Because remember, when you start to move a 6 kilos and a 12 kilos and a 25 kilos, and you have now the money to buy the guns?
Correct.
And remember, most of the guns coming from the United States. So that is when it dramatically changed in Trinidad, because now that you have kilos on the ground, that is reason for war. People know you have product, they come to take your product. You want to dominate, because the more product you move, the richer you get. And that is when the war started in the 90s that went into the first 5 years of the 21st century. That just kept escalating until it became the river of blood, 17, 18, and 19. So it's all connected in one flow. We see what we must understand is that the business model drives the violence. Because everything depends upon how do you acquire the supply. And remember, what drove the violence in Trinidad and Tobago 17, 18, and 19, and before 15, 16, and in 2008, is not cocaine, it's ganja. Trinidad and Tobago has the largest single market for ganja in the Caribbean, depending on imports. In Trinidad and Tobago, we just love to burn.
So by giving people this 4 plant in their yard, how does that impact that statement you just made?
Well, what has happened is that people are planting, but what caused the end of the ganja wars is that under the new order, you are getting ganja flowing into Trinidad like dirt, because the previous order was restricting supply, creating shortages to drive the price up. Because they wanted a monopoly and they wanted to call their prices. So in those days, you had a half pound of ganja, man will kill you for a half pound. Now the product is flowing because those who wanted to create this monopoly of supply no longer around. Because Trinidad and Tobago, the market is driven by imports because the demand, and especially in COVID, what we must understand that from 2020 with COVID, the Caribbean has now become the volume of drugs transiting through the Caribbean on the way to Europe and America has exploded under COVID. Because all over the North Atlantic, the police now is interested in policing COVID. And the people who are in lockdown want to get high.
Alcohol too.
Yes. So the drug business, whether illicit or illicit, booming in the North Atlantic.
I'll answer on top of the hour.
Yeah, I tell you what, Mr. Figueira, we wanna take a quick station identification. We thank you so very kindly for sharing such valuable information with us. We want you to stick and stay. We're gonna go for a quick short station identification, and we are gonna be back with you. Of course, folks, it's in the village with the dark triplets. We have with us no other than famous criminologist, Darius Figueira, well known all across the world, and we have him here in the village with us tonight, and he's partaking his knowledge, and we really appreciate that. So let's go for a quick station identification. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
And of course, we are back with you. It's In the Village with the Dark Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Of course, we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. And we I think we lost Darius Figueira, so we have
Are
to
you guys hearing me?
Gary, I don't think Darius Figueira is hearing you. I'm hearing you. Diana, you hearing him too
So
as well,
maybe
right?
I should come out and come back
Yeah,
in
I
then.
hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing Gary, but I don't think.
But Darius wasn't hearing him. Gary, just quickly come out and come back in.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So let me.
I think he probably.
Go ahead, Diana.
No, I think he probably think the show end. Is he back?
No. I tell him we'll be right back. You want to send him a quick text?
All right, let me. I'll leave and come back. I'll come back. Go ahead.
look. He says, I think prime ministers should be like Mr. Manny, never spoke them to theirs. So Ellis says, Wall Street, I now make out your voice. Were you that guy on 91.9 a few years ago asking Trini to vote PNM? But Ellis, Ellis, you new in here? I don't think Ellis knew, you know. Ellis, you knew? Ellis, everybody know as a PNM, that is not one thing in the village, we just keep it real. Everybody know that, right? But I'm not a red sunglasses wearing PNM. You see what I'm saying? Melissa Phillip, Melissa, welcome. Doubleization and mixing of bloodlines is the future of Trinidad, and the world. Let me add Gary back. Yeah, Gary, I added you back.
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. We're hearing you fine. Doubleization and mixing of bloodlines is the future of Trinidad and the world by extension. Pure breeds and superhuman race is a thing of the past. Just saying. Yeah, Gary.
You lost him?
No, we're getting him back. I think we're getting him back now. I think he just, here he is back. Here he's back.
Okay.
Here he is.
So I have a question.
Go ahead, Gary. So, Mr. Figueira, just tell us if you are hearing this other person. Go ahead, Gary.
Are you hearing me, sir? This is Gary.
Yes.
Okay, no. Okay, so I have a question now. Based on the nature and level of the situation we are in, what is your recommendation for us in order to resolve this issue and to curb the situation? How do we proceed?
With the crime?
Yeah, with the crime, but with the extent of the way things go on right now. I mean, it's way. I mean, the government would like to give us the impression that certain things are under control, and you and I know that is far from the truth. So what is your recommendation as a criminologist? I mean, and your depth of experience, what do you think would be the roadmap for us to change what's taking place in the country and to recover from this situation?
Well, we are at the crossroads now in Trinidad and Tobago. During the years of the bloodletting and the blood loss, everybody was taken up with ending the gun violence. But the concern with the focusing on the gun violence and the politicization of crime, we were not looking at the other realities of the nature of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. All we were focusing on and everything to explain this blood loss was only gangland talk. Now that in 2020, and now it is even lower in 2021, the homicide rate is at an all-time low. We are now seeing the realization coming out in public that we have grave problems that were never addressed before because we were only focusing on the gun violence. So you have problems with the sexual predators. You have problems with violence against children, violence against women. You have problems with crime and violence against the elderly. So what is now being indicated to us from the nature of crime or the terrain of crime in Trinidad and Tobago is that there is no need for a deep and incisive program of police reform, and more importantly, dramatic reform of the judiciary. Because you cannot have a case waiting to be placed on a docket, 15 years, people sitting down in the remand yard.
Correct is right. Correct is right. Yep. That financial corruption.
Yes. So you can't talk about deep and incisive police reform without raising the issue of clearing this backlog in the judiciary and getting the judiciary working. This constipated state in. So imagine
somebody's benefiting from this. Somebody's benefiting financially.
Financial corruption, Gary. That's what it is.
No, what is happening is that in the case of the judiciary, the judiciary keeps insisting that it is underinvestment, because you cannot talk zero tolerance for crime and you're filling the jails, the remand yard with people, and your judicial system lacks the infrastructure and personnel to give these people rapid justice, because therefore you have a political agenda to arrest people and lock them up in the remand yard for years, even though you're innocent until proven guilty. So your political agenda is punishment, punitive punishment, and you're even found guilty yet. Because you cannot be talking, I hard on crime and jail and make the right figure. And you're locking up helter-skelter, left is right, and then leaving people in the remand yard under the most inhumane conditions, as if we're still a colonial nation.
Talk your talk.
We seem to be psychologically still trapped in that era. Where our minds are still in slavery, our thinking and everything, and we can't seem to. We don't recognize the people, and we have the resources that we have in the country. I mean, we have psychologists that we had on this show. We have all different resources. We have people like yourself, and they would not respect your knowledge or your input. They refuse to. So this is something that has us in a very bad situation. We have lots of trainees outside the country who have expand their knowledge by traveling, and their education and their experience they have gained our experience from outside the country, and they wouldn't accept it. So they just want to keep it where it is.
And just the other day,
I couldn't even keep my job in university. I couldn't even keep my job in university.
Why was that, Mr. Figueira? Why was that?
Totally underappreciated.
Because politicians write letters for me to lose my job.
Can you imagine that? So they want you to go sit down in a corner like Little Jack Horner, right? They don't want you to speak. Oh my God. They really don't want you to come out. Go ahead.
No, the fact of the matter is a driver mindset. So up to now, it ain't even sinking to these people yet that we are supposedly free and masters of our own destiny. And they don't even understand that it have two generations out there that totally disenchanted with the whole shebang and the whole charade that is going on, because these two generations see through it. That is, it is a deadly game that fixed.
Okay,
and they ain't buying into it.
And they're taking what they want. And they're taking what they want.
Yes, and it have members of those generations will watch you flat in your face and tell you, well, partner, we had to take what we could get. But the one thing that unanimous in the whole affair is that the whole game rigged against them.
Yeah, correct is right. So,
Well,
Mr.
It have a kind of nihilism out there. It is frightening.
Well,
because
the country has shown that they don't care about you, they don't like you. So the country have made an enemy of itself with you. Basically, what I saw happen here.
Because he's not part of the go along, get along gang.
But I'm not only him, but I'm just saying with the young people. I think the young people it has a perception that you're against me, so it's war. You know.
Yeah, but Gary and Diana, think about this, right? Look at Darius Figueira. I mean, look at the books that this gentleman have written, the knowledge that he imparts. Yeah? He should be a significant part of WZYE, the school system in Trinidad and Tobago, and being able to educate the people about his research. He has done very research across the Caribbean. It's unbelievable. We have a gentleman in Trinidad and Tobago have done the kind of work Mr. Figueira have done. Why would you want a man like him to sit down in a corner like little Jack Horner? Why?
Because he's not part of the go along, get along gang.
He's obstructing. He's not obstruct the cash flow. Listen to me also, answer. The way I see it, right? The lack of investment from the government part with the community and educating the children and doing and creating the infrastructure to keep these kids on the right track in the first place is the recipe for chaos. The lack of investment there in the education system.
But you find this when you have a petty bourgeois society. That's what's going on.
They just run you through the gauntlet.
Bourgeois. That's what's going on here.
So, Mr. Figueira, Ulrich says, what do you think about Gary Griffith?
They asked me my opinion, I gave it to them. In 3 years, there has been no change to address the 4 horsemen of the police apocalypse in Trinidad and Tobago. Promotion, discipline, command and control, and organized crime within the police service. There has been not a single move made to address these 4 pressing issues that have been identified for years in the police service of Trinidad and Tobago. When you read all the reports put out on the police service, when you read the O'Dowd report, the best one written.
You're referring to the untouchables in the book.
Yeah, so all in Trinidad we like to do is reinvent the wheel. And you don't tackle hard issues.
I'm saying maybe he was instructed that he can touch them.
Pardon?
Go ahead, Gary.
I'm saying maybe he was instructed that he can't touch them.
Well, I really don't know, but the fact of the matter is the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are riding abreast of each other. They strengthen each other, they complement each other. And if you do not tackle them simultaneously, we will never get a police service that has finally given up on this old colonial policing.
Well, I see it. I try to initiate some kind of things there with the previous government. And I guess my ideas were too hot for them to handle. Those are wrong. I became more of a threat with the ideas, but I wanted to bring in outside help to help us scrutinize what was taking place and create something what the US have like an internal investigation service what is called the IA department, but to bring in a collaboration of forces from various countries to build that unit so that we can really, scrutinize what's going on in the force. Because the people that you have investigating the complaints against the police are part of the problem and not part of the solution. So they're basically investigating themselves.
And Gary, that's a great idea with respect to internal affairs in Trinidad and Tobago.
So I want to get something like with the help of the U.S. government, and I did source that. But it had a guy, Suraj Rambrachan, who tell me, "Who the hell is you? What shit you talking to me? U.S. government go talk to you?" So that went dead right there. And the prime minister at the time became unavailable. So all the ideas and suggestions, even though I was around the hierarchies trying to make the suggestion, they did everything to block me. But this is something I will throw on there because I know for a fact that we could not transform that police force in the way that we in the direction we're going and the things that we're doing. When we brought the Canadian guy, I tried to talk to him, and they wouldn't let me talk to him either. So I mean, I told Gary Griffith he going among sharks and alligators. I mean, basically, I said that.
I have a question for Mr. D. They want to bring in scanners now. What are your thoughts on that?
What type of scanners? On the ports?
The scanners. It's to scan the cars when you're driving. They're gonna scan your car and they want to pull you over as part of policing.
Oh yes, that's with the number plates and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's to scan the vehicles if you have guns in it.
Scan the vehicles, see if you have guns in them.
The great joke of the whole affair is that you have this political instrument that you use that is supposed to win accolades by constantly flashing technology. But what we have learned through history is that when you are sitting on feet of clay, technology don't turn feet of clay into steel. And that's happened previously in Trinidad. The technology comes in and then it soon break down and then get placed in a corner for lack of repairs.
Well, I think they will destroy it purposely in one way. And we're dealing with a situation where evidence is destroyed according to who is involved, right? Within the police force, it gets lost. I mean, there's all these kind of issues. Then, you get to the court, and we saw what happened with 𝗵𝗵𝘀𝗻𝗃. She discovered the wrong thing, and she got taken out. And that was evidence alone that was going on with our justice system. Up to now, we can't hear who was involved up the chain lengths. All right, we're only hearing about the guy. We see the suspects get killed or taken out, basically. So they can't talk. They can't testify in court because they might have been calling some names. So, these are the kind of things that are happening. And we cannot continue the way we're going, as I see it. We are not going to get any results.
Any questions?
We just lost them.
Oh yeah.
Diana, I'm trying to get Wendell's Eversley, and when you get the link, you have to download it on Chrome.
No, he has to download Chrome and then go in put the link in Chrome web search. Okay, it might be easier that way.
Download Chrome. Then put link in Chrome, right?
Yeah, use Chrome as his web search, instead of.
But this should have Chrome. Oh, he's back. Okay, he's back. Okay, Mr. Figueira, you're back. So Mr. Figueira, someone added on to the question they asked you about Gary Griffith. What's your thought on him getting another contract as Commissioner of Police?
Well, you know that decision is entirely political.
Okay.
It's a political decision, and you know, a political decision is always premised on what is best for the politician that is ruling. So it is very difficult. It is very difficult to predict the outcome. But I am expecting another contract for him.
So you predicting another contract?
Yeah.
And what's your premise for making that prediction?
Because he does not rock the boat.
Number one.
And he can always and will always boast about how under his term in office the murder rate has collapsed. So that's the premise.
And that will be accurate, regardless of whatever caused it to collapse, whatever it's COVID-19, whatever it is. It will be accurate. That will be facts. Right?
Yes. and that is very important to the politicians.
But I don't see anybody to fit Gary Griffith's shoes either. I mean, in spite of what the issues are, I don't see anybody to fit his shoes that can. I don't see anybody I can trust to take the police force, and nobody within the force.
Well, over the years, I have had the pleasure to interact with members of the police service when I was into tertiary lecturing, and I could tell you that they are very bright and competent young people in the police service who can, in fact, carry that police service forward. I have interacted with them, had the opportunity to have teaching relationships where they taught me and I taught them. And that is one thing the police service is not short of: competent, capable people who can lead and carry it forward, and they have a vision of what it's supposed to be. The fact of the matter is that in the game that is played in how you rise through the ranks, they don't ever make it to the top.
Well, I also think that I don't think it's like you could just change the sheriff and expect a complete change. I think we need to change a general and administrative change transition there. With the not just the police commissioner alone. I'm looking for an administrative change. A whole team. And that's the way I see it. And you're the expert. I'm not really an expert, and this is just my common sense.
So Ulrich asks, do you think Gary is right for this country? Do you think Gary Griffin is right for Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, the first thing we must never ever forget is that Gary Griffith is a politician.
Correct is right.
And even during his 3 years as police commissioner, he continued to present himself to the public in a political manner based on the manner and the strategy of politics in Trinidad and Tobago. He is the most politicized police commissioner we have ever had since independence. So that goes with the person.
At one time,
ever forget that.
Yeah, at one time. Go ahead, Mr. Figueira.
People must not have a short memory. In 2010, when the People's Partnership came into power and 𝗵𝗶𝘆 was the Prime Minister, they must remember who was the person who began the assault on the acquisition of the OPVs for Trinidad and Tobago.
What do you mean the assault on the OPVs?
The assault on the OPVs and said they were not adequate to the task of Trinidad and Tobago defense.
So the equipment they bought wasn't better?
No, Gary, he's saying that who put an assault on the People's Partnership purchasing those boats. There was an assault on them going to purchase those boats. So, Mr. Figueira, I think
No,
what you can do
he's
is tell
talking
him.
about the OPVs. The OPVs were the
Yeah.
vehicles that...
There was an assault on the purchase of those OPVs. So I think Mr. Figueira could answer that question. Who put an assault on them purchasing those OPVs?
The commencement of the assault on the fitness of the OPVs for Trinidad purpose commenced with the person who today is the Commissioner of Police.
But you're talking about the OPVs that was the vehicles, the vessels that the Coast Guard had at the time, not that what they were going to buy.
No, they were not yet delivered. They were under construction by the British company. And then the People's Partnership government canceled the contract.
Okay, but what my question is, the vessels that they bought, other than the OPVs, they weren't better vessels?
Those vessels were those demand vessels are not in the same ship class as an OPV. They are not deep water vessels.
Okay, so you're saying that. Okay.
That's why. Go ahead, Mr. Figueira.
The two present Cape class vessels that we bought from Australia and Australia, not even in the class of those OPVs that we ordered under the Marine Administration.
So you're talking about the recent vessel that was bought?
The two of them. Yeah.
Okay, so they're not in that.
So after the People's Partnership government canceled the contracts for the OPVs, today Trinidad and Tobago has had no replacement of any vessel in the same category or the same class of vessel. Not even the two Austral Cape class vessels that we recently bought, and they are in Trinidad and Tobago now, is comparable to those three OPVs.
So why we couldn't go out? Is it due to money why we couldn't go out and try to get other OPVs? Or was it politics that we didn't want to deal with OPVs at all? Because of
the reason given to the people of Trinidad and Tobago in public is that for the same money you can get more vessels that are not comparable to the OPV, but they are more relevant to Trinidad because the threat to Trinidad and Tobago is coming across the Gulf from Venezuela. So you use a 1980s model of the drug trade between Trinidad and Tobago in 2010, 2015 to justify the junking of the OPVs. And you're still using that same model today talking about threats to Trinidad and Tobago, when in truth and in fact, the dope coming in Trinidad and Tobago coming in all the containerized cargo.
I wanted to mention that earlier.
So they're fishing in Carnage for boats coming in Toko.
So all of them is talking about boat coming in and bringing dope and all kind of thing. That model dead. That model done. They're still talking 1980s in 2021. They're living in a time warp.
I'll tell you.
Well, it might still have some street boy doing their thing that style, that bringing the little thing in the fishing boat, you know. I mean, there's some wannabe gangsters too, you know, them little 18-year-old who wants to be a gangster too. So, I mean, you know, I'm sure
bringing in 25 kilos in the drug trade, you know. When you're moving ton and up.
Yeah, well, I hear referring to that.
Shipment is a ton.
I think there's a mixture of things coming in that's taking place, not just one aspect or one category. I think there's the big billionaire. I think there's the down to the little fella on the street who want to be a gangster. You know, so I mean, there are several things happening.
You know,
in the new business model, the little man on the street ain't getting nobody to sell his 6 kilo in Venezuela. So why you think them from Delta Amacuro in Trinidad now sitting down on High Street, San Fernando with a placard begging? Because they ain't had no work. The trade closed down by them.
Ooh.
So they come here looking for work.
Wow.
But Mr. Figueira, isn't it telling that 700 Venezuelans decide that, boy, I'd rather go back home than to come to Trinidad and starve in Trinidad and Tobago? Isn't that something telling with what's happening to the economy of Trinidad and Tobago?
That was a most potent indicator of the reality, that teaching all of we who want to understand that those who stay in Trinidad and Tobago, that means they're in some form of activity where the money is still flowing. And in Trinidad and Tobago, you call it pakoti.
Correct is right. Correct is right.
Well, you have to understand too, there was a mixture of immigrants, you know, they were not all gangsters that came across. There were some of them were teachers, they were highly educated people that came across during that difficulty. So I mean, they're not all gangsters that came out.
It had a mixture, but all of them under the rule of the gangster. The gangster that rule all of them. Not one of them don't call no police and inform on nobody. And if the gangsters bring all of them on the boat from Figueira.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying.
And if the gangsters, all of them pay the $250 and $300 to come. They say Venezuela so hard and they poor and this and that, but they could cost $300 a head to cross in a boat. Because a 150 trip from Venezuela to Trinidad, a 150 trip and a $125 trip, you go drunk because the boat ain't no good at all. Water coming over the side of the boat when it's coming across, and the engine go cut off on you because it's 36 of them on that boat. Neither 150 and a 125 trip.
Oh, okay.
In Venezuela, it's called that the coffin trip.
Good. Educate us. Yeah. You know, there was another question, Mr. Figueira, by Ulrich. What are your thoughts on the 5 vessels rotten in Chaguaramas? I guess they have 5 or 6 vessels, I guess.
That was bought under the PP government.
Yeah, what about those 5 or 6 vessels?
That is a perennial reality with the Coast Guard fleet. A perennial reality. The entire issue of maintaining your fleet in a fit condition to be in the water. You always will have vessels down, but the fact of the matter is that it's a perennial problem with the Coast Guard from the days of the Barracuda and the Cascadura up to now. From government to government.
So what is it? A lack of trained mechanics, a lack of equipment? What is the issue?
But one thing we know, it is a problem throughout the Caribbean. So either all the governments in the
Caribbean, not only training people mashing up things.
Yeah, either the government is the same throughout the Caribbean, or it have a common activity throughout the Caribbean to contribute to you to breaking up the boat.
It's just the same Caribbean people.
It's the same thing in the Bahamas. The Bahamas went and buy the same Damon boat and them, and it's the same bacchanal. Man just drive it on coral reef and all kind of thing. So it reach a stage now in the Bahamas where the government watch them and tell them when all they break up the boat, or they go pay to fix it.
So Mr. Figueira, we always ask a question here in the village, the Dark Triplets. If you had to send a message to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, what would be your message to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, the amount of messages they're going to have, you're going to need Santa Claus to tote that bag.
Figueira, just send one or two. Send one of the two or three most important ones you think Santa Claus to tote.
The first message is people suffering. The suffering on the ground in this country, the last time I see suffering so is when I was a little fella before the oil money. This COVID hardship and hardcore suffering, and the people on the ground watching you flat in your face and telling you that the politicians in this country don't know how poor people does live. How poor people does all the hustles they have to make some money when the day come to live. And they're just sitting down and pontificating to you and putting down work. Like if everybody pays still coming. People suffering. You hear? You start up, you just ride the maxi and them and you go your way and you watch, you go by, you go to check out the lady selling papers and you talk to people and it's right through. Not even everything. It's just pure dislocation. And the fact of the matter is, besides the COVID dislocation, we are in deep economic crisis because the gas model is collapsed. It is collapsed. So we in dire straits. You hear? So we have an economy in this country where you have these oligarchs dominating distribution and retail. Important, you go in the supermarkets in this country and you see what we take in precious US dollars to import to sell. And the greatest is these people burning up with foreign exchange as we don't have to import all kind of things to sell. Like if we still in a gas boom. And the greatest thing about it is that they're burning up US dollars that they don't generate because they don't export nothing.
True, very true.
So you have oligarchs in this country who are addicted to foreign exchange that they don't generate. So this is pure lunacy. So you want to know, so the message is, understand what is going on the ground, It reached a stage already that people ain't even care about the threat of COVID to life. Because they're suffering now. That is the dislocation. And that is mind-boggling. So that is the message.
I tell you, Mr. Figueira, you know, I guess I could understand why they don't have you on the media in Trinidad and Tobago. Because I don't know if it's a message they want to hear, you know, because you bringing truth to power, and they want you to temper your information a little bit, you know, so it could be a little more friendly, a little more media friendly. But here in the village, we speak truth to power, and that's why we appreciate people like you coming into the village and speaking truth to power, you know, and even the people, you know, in the chat saying, where was Mr. Figueira all this time? Right? But
just,
you know,
just silence and catch him in.
Is he?
Because no media in Trinidad don't put me on.
That's
the length of time you all
what
have me on this program, I get stupid because nobody in Trinidad don't talk to me so often.
We got to have you back, man. This conversation gotta continue.
Listen, let me tell you this. We are going to guarantee you that we are going to have you back, because when we bring people here into the village, we want truth to power, right? And you know, sometimes, many times, people don't want to hear the truth, you know. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They want you to pacify them with whatever the information is. You know, so we are going to guarantee you that we are definitely going to bring you back. So, any closing words before you go?
Well, it was a pleasure, and it is good. It is good to be in contact with the diaspora.
Correct.
Because you know, in the good old days of the oil, I used to be in and out of New York, like if I ride in bus, right? But since oil fall, you know, me and see New York long time. So when I watch the cable, I hear them talking about how New York coming back like the 1970s New York. And I say to myself, all they talking about New York coming like the 1970s New York, or they should have lived in Trinidad and Tobago. So it was a great pleasure, because I could tell you I always love the apple.
Yeah. The apple, yes, man. Absolutely. So again, Mr. Figueira, we want to thank you so very kindly for sharing so much time with us. We appreciate you, and we'll be in contact. Okay?
Yes.
You all keep good and keep safe.
All right. Thank you so much.
Pleasure
Thank you very
talking to you,
much.
sir.
Pleasure
talking to you.
my part.
Okay. Thank you. Ah, boy. I tell you, boy. Listen, after we whiff, I will tell you something. I will take full responsibility for the whiff last Thursday. Full responsibility. All you could wait now. Look, we have Ray Stealth. Ray Stealth. Where joining us from? Ray Stealth. I don't know. I wonder if Ray is a real name or if Ray is somebody else.
Any sign of Mr. Eversley?
Let me see. I don't know, boy. Like, I don't know if Wendell is Mario Brown second coming, huh? No, I see him. He sent me a message. He sent a message here in the chat too. I tell him, oh, yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna let Diana contact him. Once Diana contact him, everything will be taken care of. Diana does something.
How I get involved in this now?
Diana is a fixer. Yeah, Linda, Mr. Figueira was good. We need to bring him back in the village. Good. You know? Yeah.
The thing about it, those 6 boats that park up in Sterbles there, right? I think that was by design to keep them there, to allow certain things to happen in the country. Now, you notice 4 helicopters shut down. They had one, I guess, wrap up in Sharon wrap. Like a cake there. But the thing about it, you ground the helicopters and you ground the boats, so that open up the door for a lot of things to happen. You know, I mean, the patrolling can be done in several phases. You know, so there's this poor excuse, man. There was an agenda there. There was an agenda there to open up the door.
You know,
that's the way I see it.
Yeah. So listen, Rowley, do we have to send you back to Toronto, eh?
Look, Mr. Eversley is saying hi. Mr. Eversley,
I respond to him.
Tell him just to click on the link and come in and scroll down to enter studio.
Yeah, I told him, yeah. Ulrich say with all that, you still vote for the PNM. Ulrich does always try to throw jabs at me, you know. How you know why you vote for Ulrich? You just going to boot with me? Eh? You just going to boot with me? I think you just going to boot Ulrich? Eh? Oh, you know what I just vote for? Anthony Medford say, well said, Mr. Figueira. I see we had some 1 or 2 new names. My dog get reach, boy. Ellis Laborde say, oh gosh, boy, Figueira, pressure, boy. You bring tears to my eyes, too.
But you know, a guy like
hold on. I'm gonna finish with this. And they don't even care. Only if you get someone to check these UNC and PNM people bank accounts, both local and foreign. Ellis, boy. Oh God, Melissa, say something about a blood-sucking empire. Yeah, Bonnie said better than Tuesday, boy, Mr. Brown. Yeah, we got to pop a YouTube with Mr. Brown. One-on-one with Mr. Brown that went wrong. You know, is Rowley Run DMC?
Who?
Rowley Run DMC. He said he heard something about somebody do bid.
Oh Lord.
I'm telling you, man.
Oh Lord. I don't know. I think I'm gonna get this cocaine broom because they're getting out of hand now.
Yeah. Hey, look, one said great contributions to Row and Wheel. JD Stacia or Stacia? Stacia? JD Stacia, welcome. I forgot to introduce all. Yeah, welcome. Madeline Mohabir, how are your family? Welcome. Rowley, I don't tell you welcome already. All I know about Rowley Jr. on radio too. Linda said, Mr. Figueira, we're not sticking. He answered all questions, not like certain people we had on Thursday. Oh God. Nutskick say, why I like this guest. Rose said, I baked bread and shared today. Also, my son and his friends caught a lot of fish and gave a good amount to me. It's like in the Bible, bread and fish blessings. Yeah, man. All the time. Yeah, you could picture this man as a head of a party, Elisa.
Hey, Erica.
Yeah, Elisa, Erica come in. Rowley come in.
I reading way ahead.
He's saying hi. Oh, you ahead of me. He's saying hi to all the ladies. Hi, Lana.
Hey, what happened to the plans of having Erica to co-host with us on the ground there?
No, we worked it out with her. We have to set up a date. We have to set up a date.
Maybe you'll do it next Tuesday.
I want to get somebody from Tobago also, to kind of join us, so we get some kind of correspondence on that end also.
The comments and I'm going so fast, boy. Hey,
yeah, tell him I'm way ahead of you.
Ray Stout and Sam, that name ring a bell. You know how much Ansem they have?
My air condition blasting.
How did him go ring a bell? Ray Stout say Ansem ring a bell. Ray Stout, where you from?
You sing from Samoa, you're slow.
So Ansem,
yeah.
The situation with the Mr. Pretty, Alan Pretty. I see the government put something out there now because after a few words with about Moderna and Pfizer is of the same equivalency. I see there's a change.
Yeah, Gary. We go pay it up.
Yeah.
So, we go pay it up.
I know after I get on a little bad now, you know what I mean?
We go pay it up. Hey, so hear this now. Yeah, good night, Erica. Nutskick say, Rick want to shoot Ansem. You know, Erica, I want to thank you. Let me say this, Erica, right? You know, whenever Diana come in here and Diana wants something nice, everybody just be, oh God, Diana, you look so nice tonight. You this, that, and the other. And when I come with a little thing, they don't say nothing to me.
But they ain't tell me I look nice tonight, but that's okay.
What's that one? Huh?
That's okay. Look, 𝗲𝗶𝘆. Hi, 𝗲𝗶𝘆.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Nutskick say, Rick want to shoot. Yeah, this comes straight from Ghana, you know. Live on the red buddy. Rowley say he's in Toronto and Ron is in Trinidad.
They say somebody was bad talking you on 𝗵𝐻𝐻𝑆 show, the girly boy Paul.
Who's that?
Somebody was bad talking you on 𝗵𝐻𝐻𝑆 show.
I got no time to listen to them.
He said Nutskick said that girly boy Paul real bad talking today on TC and 𝗵𝐻𝐻.
No, let Paulie could say what he want. I mean, I can't tell you, man.
He felt in stone at full mango tree. That's it.
Yeah. So Rowley say I'm in Toronto and Ron is in Trinidad. Ron say not at all. Only trying to insult me by calling me Rowley. Oh God. Rowley say no, I'm a different person. Oh, who's Ray Stealth? Where Ray Stealth? Where Ray Stealth from Diana San Fernando?
It's a Glencoe side.
Where boy? Hey, Ulrich, I ain't go Ulrich, thanks for realizing my shit, eh? You know what I mean? I don't wait till emancipation come to wear African garb like they was doing Trinidad and Tobago, right? And I don't wait until emancipation come to talk about economic development, economic empowerment, economic inclusion, and access to capital for black people and black businesses. Eh? I don't just wait till emancipation come. And when emancipation come, everybody dress up in the nice African outfit, boy. 365 days in a year, 1 day out of the year, you dress up and oh God, all kind of thing they're talking. Not no. I ain't okay with that. I ain't okay with that one. You know what I mean? I ain't okay with that. Ray Stealth said the system need to change in order for you to see some kind of light in this blessed little island. You know, joking, huh? Yeah. Yeah, no joke. Always, I know I like this shirt, but the shirt red nice. All my family does like this shirt, ever. Yeah. My dog say, yeah, bro, handsome. What is that, my dog? What is that one? Oh, Ray Stealth say, but like, oh, you're coming here a long time. No, what do you mean? Them fellas in the village, long time, boy. Yeah. Like, I know, boy. Then this guy pop out on YouTube. I doesn't know what them fellas be saying, eh? Probably say handsome. Yeah. Yeah, folks. Oh, Gary, the one with tomorrow's emancipation, boy. What? You ever see her? I see Aisha was in she emancipation outfit yesterday, boy. What? And she thinking that I tell she. I say, all of us only pawn that thing once a year when emancipation comes. She say, all right, on the wait next week, I go cross Wall Street. But you know, why they cussing me so on the radio in Trinidad and truth, boy? Diana, what it is? Why they cussing me so? Why do? You might new Ghana.
Because you have taken a stance against the puppet master.
But you rather cuss me for that?
They don't like that you interfere. You're talking the truth and you're bringing on all these guests to prove your point, you know. You hear what the criminologist said, people suffering. You hear what the interview that went wrong with Mr. Brown. He said that the puppet master should step down now, but leave a plan in place. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's agreeing that things ain't going right with him and under him. So
no, but we must keep smiling because because you have a black man in power. So no matter what wrong he do, go along with it. Go along with it. But let me tell you something. I got news for them. I don't care what color you is and what race you is. You're doing something wrong. I'm not going along with you, pal. You know.
Everybody's suffering under him. Everybody right now, and to the Ministry of Insecurity, national insecurity, you still have stranded citizens. Because right now, I don't know, Gary, if he's been passed on to you. Someone reached out to me for concerning someone in Costa Rica.
Yeah, I'm dealing with that right now. So that if you notice, I made a comment in the group there. So the situation is, right, as you know, he's not allowed to get the vaccine because he's not a national in that part of the world. So he's not privileged to get the vaccine. He cannot afford to pay for quarantine, which the government did not take into consideration. So I contacted National Security on his behalf, and I gave him an email address also for National Security to write his side of the story as to what his situation is. So I am waiting for a response on that. But again, this government continues to make very inconsiderate, heartless decisions against our people with no consideration at all. Look, the guy come all the way from Canada to bury his mother, and you send him back. He was so much a threat, but the Venezuelans who was crossing the border back and forth was no threat. Did they get a PCR test? Did they get vaccinated?
The guy, the man was vaccinated, boy.
Yeah.
Vaccinated, you know.
Who determined that? Who determined he's a threat?
But let me listen to the Minister of National Security. Let me listen to him.
Play.
Let me listen to him.
In the case of Mr. 𝗵𝘃𝗍, the system demands information in respect of mixed vaccines because we have always said that we only use and offer to the people of Trinidad and Tobago World Health Organization approved vaccines. And similarly, in terms of blends or mixtures, we only acknowledge in full vaccination a mix as offered by the World Health Organization of the Pfizer and the AstraZeneca. No other mix has been approved by the World Health Organization as far as I know, and therefore no other mix is yet acceptable to Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. 𝗵𝘃𝗍 obviously uploaded information that allowed him the travel pass, but when he arrived, it occurred to those who would validate it that his mix was, I think, Moderna and the Pfizer, and not Pfizer and AstraZeneca, as Trinidad and Tobago admits.
Listen to this one. Listen to this one.
Sorry, I'm being reminded I might have slipped a moment ago and said that the PCR test should be no more than 72 hours old. If I said 72 years, that was quite a miss. 72 hours old. But one can say differently. One can upload a false document. As you all know, these things are manufactured in the world and can create issues. So Mr. 𝗵𝘃𝗍 would have succeeded in getting a travel pass upon validation. It was the case, and he being a non-national, had he been a national, he would have been allowed entry after quarantine at his own expense. But we had said from the get-go, it is there for the world to see that as a non-national, you are not permitted to come into the borders of Trinidad and Tobago if you are unvaccinated. And vaccinated means having your 2 shots, or in the case of a single shot, Johnson & Johnson, your 1 shot, and after your final or your 1 shot in the Johnson & Johnson case, 14 days would have passed, and then you are deemed fully vaccinated. In the case of the mix, as I said earlier, the Pfizer and the AstraZeneca would do. He got in here and it was discovered that that was not the case, and as a result, very unfortunately, he had to be turned back. I am sure he did not tell the media in Canada from whence he came all of the details I've just shared with you. But I now share them so that you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, will understand that Trinidad and Tobago, like every other country, have our laws and our public health regulations, all designed to protect you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And just as the United States and Nigeria and Canada and India have theirs, and they do it in the interest of their population, we, Trinidad and Tobago, do it in the interest of ours, and we stand by it.
So folks, we're going to
So
go
it
to
was most unfortunate. I understand the
Answer the station
implications
ID.
for him as an individual. It's his mother. I understand all of the emotional content. I understand that there are some who might think there are humanitarian concerns. But I think the greatest humanitarian concern is the concern for 1.4 million human beings in Trinidad and Tobago. Not just one. all of us. Suffice that to be so.
So, folks, it's in the village with the dark triplets and WZYE 95.9 FM. We're going to go for
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 𝗧𝗂𝗲𝐿𝐵 95.9 FM. The most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
So here are the vaccines that you can mix, right? You know something, boy? You know something, boy? I just wonder about we sometime, boy, as a country, let me remove that. Anyway, let me just say that. Let me just say the ones we could mix, right? Everybody know that, right? You could mix now Pfizer, AstraZeneca. Well, you really you can't mix Johnson & Johnson because it's just one. But wait now. Look at this. So think about this, right?
Read it.
It says, members of the public are therefore advised of the updated list of approved COVID-19 vaccines and vaccine combination for Trinidad and Tobago. Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson. So you can mix Johnson & Johnson with another vaccine?
According to this memo here.
Go on.
Could you mix Johnson & Johnson with Moderna?
Keep on reading.
All right. Moderna, Sinopharm, Sinovac, first dose, AstraZeneca, second dose, Pfizer, first dose, AstraZeneca, second dose, Moderna.
So all of a sudden, Moderna, which was out of the loop, has become part of the list of categories that can be, right? According to what they say now, right?
So I think what they're saying is that you could only mix AstraZeneca and Pfizer. First dose AstraZeneca, second dose Pfizer, and first dose AstraZeneca and second dose Moderna. Is that what they're saying? Or are they saying that you can mix Pfizer with Johnson & Johnson or Pfizer with Moderna? Because it says, member of the public are therefore advised of the updated list of approved COVID-19 vaccine and vaccine combinations for Trinidad and Tobago.
I am just wondering if that has anything to do with my statement saying that they are of the same, Pfizer and Moderna is of the same equivalency, basically. And
I hear you. But my question is this. Are they saying that you can only mix AstraZeneca and Pfizer and AstraZeneca and Moderna?
But you can't mix Pfizer and Moderna. Is that what they're trying to say?
Right, you can't mix Pfizer and Moderna.
Well, we don't know. We will have to get. I'll have to invite one of the doctors to come on and give us some education on that.
But let's look. Go ahead, Anna.
I'm surprised that they lock you up for and put you in jail and fine him $350,000 and lock you up for 6 months.
Who's that? Who?
Mr. Pretty.
Yeah, I'm surprised. And wait a minute. Is he a Trinbagonian by birth?
I ain't sure,
Because this thing, you see this, and we're on the radio. You see this thing, national and non-national, and the differentiation.
I think Canada was forcing you to give up your citizenship when you take it up there. But I don't know the rules now. Some people have gone there a very long time. Like before the NAR government came in the power, you had to give up your Trinidad citizenship to become a U.S. citizen. Now you don't have to, and it's also automatic.
But if you're born there, you always belong to there. He's a national of the. If they're going to deport him from Canada, guess where they're going to deport him to?
Where he was born.
They want to play thing now. Listen, they want to play thing.
So then suddenly he's a national of Trinidad and Tobago because they will deport him to Trinidad. right? If he did something that warranted deportation. Where you think they're going to deport him to Barbados, Jamaica? No, they're going to deport him right we born. So he's a national. Where come see, come sa. So with this, you know, same thing Mr. Figueira was talking about, this colonial nonsense. He's a national, period. That's we born. And he should be treated according. And the man come home for his mother funeral. Wait.
No consideration.
Wait. Now, Gary, give me a break now. Gary, give me a break here now. Common sense prevail. You had the Venezuelans that sneaking coming through the border. I don't know if they're still doing it. This one man come home for his mother funeral. You mean all you couldn't isolate him, give him a whatever kind of PPE to wear, and let the man go to the funeral and isolate him again and let him go along back on the flight team and go back up to Canada? You tell me all couldn't do that? He is such a threat. Vaccinated.
But Diana, I sure he come on plane the same plane with people who are non-vaccinated.
But people was coming negative PCR test, non-vaccinated too. They was not right either.
So he was on a plane, right, with a negative PCR test, with people who have a negative PCR test and non-vaccinated. Who is more of a threat? Who is more of a threat?
Negative PCR test, vaccinated. And he is a threat to 1.4 million.
But you see, fear boy. They put in fear people. Hey boy, that man, only 50% vaccinated with Pfizer and 50% with Moderna. No boy, that fellow is a threat. No, because
he's a half-breed.
Yeah, he's a 50%, 50-50.
That Douglas vaccine.
Yeah, you man take a 50-50 vaccine, boy. You can't put no 50-50 vaccine, half and half.
What kind of malarkey to talk in there? The man vaccinated negative.
No. The man 50-50.
50-50. Them is 50-50. Lord Father God rest.
Vaccine.
Oh God rest.
It's a 50-50 vaccine, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you talking about? In Trinidad, you can't come to Trinidad and take no 50-50 vaccine. You mad? You can take 150. Right? If he had to come to Trinidad, if Trinidad didn't change the policy, he would have to go back to Canada and go and take another Pfizer shot, boy. It's 150 now.
I am so tired and fed up with them people.
I tell them, the man was better taking a vaccine.
Yeah, you see why I am not going there, because you need to talk about national and non-national. That is where the man born. If he born, you're national, you're from there. If you get deported, they have to take you back there. But me, I go let them send me Barbados, because me, I want to go and deal with them.
They might have a problem with you with that one shot, you know. Because by that time they will say you didn't have your booster.
Well, I ain't going there no time soon, because I have to go to England, and England taking you with your negative PCR on your vaccination card. So Trinidad could, you know what?
But you gotta get your booster. You gotta get a booster.
Once it's a one shot,
Trinidad come up with a rule now. Anytime they take that 50% shot, because I use Johnson & Johnson.
That was not no 50% shot. Please, I don't care about Trinidad thing. That's them and their I'm sick of them. I'm tired of them. They have too much of that. And you know look, I'm going to say something now. Trinidad and Tobago behaving as though you're trying to get into a society that is equivalent to Monaco or Dubai.
What do you mean? Them people
trying to sneak in there.
Don't talk about my place like that.
Trying to sneak in somewhere. You're trying to sneak in there, like you're sneaking into the Dubai, or you're trying to sneak into Monaco or somewhere. Crime-ridden place you can't walk the street.
Crime down there. You see the great job.
I said it.
Guy Gifford doing?
Please.
All right. Okay.
Come on.
But you know what
sneak in there to do what?
Yeah. Ulrich says, Ulrich is a tailor boy. Ulrich says if you have cloth whenever you come to Trinidad, I will sort for you. Just bring the cloth. What, Ulrich, boy? Nutscake say, answer them playing Oprah. I straight for you and you. My member says, what I like about Ansem, he's very down to earth guy. That is it, you know. I think truth to power, man. People just get vexed, but that is it.
Yeah, I'm tired of them and this shit. They make the rules. I'm tired of them. I'm tired, you know. Yeah, Mark. I love Tobago. I don't like Trinidad. I do not like Trinidad.
No,
I said it here. I love Tobago. If you give me a choice of Tobago and Trinidad, I love Tobago. I said it.
Watch yourself, you know. Linda Gibson says, Ansem, they cussing you because they can't control you. Shame on them. What, boy? I never see a cuss in my life, boy. People cuss me. What? I said, what's program? But they cuss. But no, Albert Montano. I'm not paying them to
You're going to have to come to Tobago to see me nuts cake. I love Tobago. I don't like Trinidad at all. Never did.
You need to give Aisha some education, man. I mean, after 60 years of independence, your people suffering, so you're still calling yourself, still calling them out to support PNM. Nah.
Race tell, boy.
You're leading your people to slavery then, and bondage.
Prefer Tobago, peaceful, calmer, nicer people, safer society. Trinidad, you got to run inside quick and lock the gate. I'm frightened.
You know what my dog said? My dog said AstraZeneca is 70%. Let me just say and stack a Pfizer on top of that, which is 95%. Just saying.
All of them you're gonna
did you see that video with Dr. Gopi Singh saying about how 8 people out of 10 is dying from the hospital in Cuba there?
Oh Lord.
No, I didn't see that one.
I thought I sent it to you.
But yeah, Gary, but you gotta be careful putting up some of them video, you know, because YouTube taking down people like crazy, you know. YouTube and Facebook, boy, some of them videos, you know.
What Ron comment? What Ron say he gone nobody ain't reading? He comment pouting again. What comment Ron put up here?
Like
the PNM get into YouTube too.
Yeah, like
the PM daughter could come on the tip of the iguana tail. Yeah, Ron. Yeah, right.
See, we could read our next comment film. We're going to our next comment film. Albert Montano.
The man coming for his mother's funeral in Tobago. The man mother is a Tobagonian. All right, Ron. We get some of your comments. You happy now?
Read the next one. Quick. Read the next one film.
I ain't see no more. I have to go way back.
Yeah, you have to go. God, boy. Run like I don't know, boy.
Yeah, he pouts, boy.
Like a little pouter, man.
Yeah.
Chris,
wait. You buy that dashiki and ratans. Okay, good.
Hey, what's wrong with you?
You tell me to read it.
Ron said that. Yeah. I go bother with you. Ron.
All right, Ron, you happy now?
You happy now? Nah, yeah. All right, we'll read your comments. Let me leave him. Albert Montano says, answer my family.
Child.
He's a spoiled child. I wonder if he's our only child. You think he's our only child? No, he can't be our only child. He has about 5 or 6 brothers. He can't be our only child. He's last child.
He was the one. She sticks say I went one-on-one with Aisha on Facebook, and she became quite after my last comment. I tell her to educate her people rather than trying to make them vote for a party that benefits herself. Woo.
I mean, seeing the suffering of your people, and you're still leading them in a direction that causes them more suffering. When you get the message after 60 years, you see enough. Come on, man, give me a break.
Yeah, Albert Montano says, answer my family migrated to Canada in 1992. And we became Canadian citizens and didn't have to give up our TT citizenship. Yeah, I have dual citizenship though.
See? So you're national. You're still a national. Yeah. So I don't know what they're talking about, non-national and national. Yeah. They're trying to differentiate people. You're born in Trinidad and Tobago. When you go to Barbados, they treat you like, hi. But you see, Mia Motley had a big thing, welcome home Bajans or something so. But bring home all the Bajans just before the COVID. Trinidad, anything so? No, nothing so. They look at what you coming here for and how long you staying and when you're leaving. Oh, please.
Yeah, so she said Ron and Rowley's daughter came here when America was in a crisis with COVID. Who's Ron?
Or Ron Poutin for again. Oh,
No,
Lord.
Ron, he said Ron and Rowley daughter. Who's Ron? Is Ron the MC daughter come to Trinidad too?
I don't know.
She's taking talking about. She's taking talking about things. Let me see.
Did the guy get in backstage or he ain't get in?
Nah,
he must be scared of the program.
I don't know if I don't feel listen to Diana Joseph.
Oh, Diane Joseph. Oh.
Yeah, Diane Joseph.
Whatever.
You know
Whatever. Who cares?
Who is Diane Joseph? I don't know who she is.
That's a pest that trolls people on the Facebook.
We talked about Diane Joseph here last week. Diane Joseph is the one tell when there's Eversley comedy program, they call this fella Wall Street. Right? Imagine that, boy. This woman telling her person, don't come to get exposure. Right?
She's an activist from PNM or something?
Yeah, she's part of the Go Along Get Along PNM gang.
Okay.
Yeah, she's on social media. Part of the Go Along Get Along PNM gang on social media.
I wonder what friend who was attacking me all the time. I ain't heard that about she.
Sanvita?
No. Rhoda.
Rhoda Barrett?
Yeah.
I don't try and get Rhoda Barrett in here, boy.
Yeah, I hear she cussing me again.
Yeah, them people, I afraid to bring Rhoda Barrett. Not skicks
Ulrich says to fix your WhatsApp so we can call in.
To buy a shirt. Ulrich, look now, go send you back to Shogona, sir. I will send you back. Ellis says, I stopped listening to Aisha because they're not honest when it comes to governance of the nation.
Yeah, I'm very, and today at the press conference, you know, yes, I can understand, you know, you're trying to get the populace to take the vaccine. But, you know, your tone and your language and people ain't want to go and take no vaccine. You buffing them and, you know, they're not. Look, wait. You have vaccines. Wait, no, Gary. You have vaccines out. I don't know, right? There's not me. I don't know. That I understand allegedly maybe about to expire. I don't know. Not Diana Benskin. Oh, God, you ain't giving people no grant. They ain't coming forward. But offer them grant money now. Yo, watch and see how fast they gonna come.
Correct is
Offer them the grant money now. You come and you get a job. You're getting a check for $1,500 or $2,000 or whatever. Or bring your bills that you're behind, and we're gonna give you 75% of the money you owe for your back bills, and you get a job. Watch and see how fast people come forward. Easy as pie. Easy as pie.
Great, Gary.
And you're solving two problems. You're getting your people vaccinated, and they're getting money to pay their bills and stuff. Hello, what's so hard about it? You just get a loan from CAF, get a loan from somebody, right? Why don't you use some of that money to disburse and give people the money? And
that money's for infrastructure. Diana and already Tata. When I hear Mariano Wong talk about infrastructure in Tobago and the roads in Tobago better than Trinidad, I said, nah. I call people in Tobago. They say, what kind of madness Mariano Wong talking about? They say, wait, what are you really talking about? When he comes to Tobago, he must go to Scarborough.
He might be wrong. The roads in Tobago might be pretty bad. It might be better than Trinidad because that's telling you how bad the roads in Trinidad is.
No, but with that fella, right? When that fella trying to make people look like he's the brightest bulb in the box. You understand? And that's what he come into here to do, to try to make you so all of a sudden he's the brightest bulb in the box. And all you can't talk to him. But the only thing I do was to cuss him, and I don't cuss. That's the only thing I do. Hey, but listen to this one, all you. I had to talk, let me see this. Troy Smith, welcome. Troy Smith was here last time.
I mean, you know, let them come with their ID card. You say you're digitalizing the plane. Put them in the system. You put the information in. They already get the shot. They get the money, so they can't come back and double dip. And then you know you put the system in there. They have the one shot. You send it to the Ministry of Health. They have the one shot. You send that to the Ministry of Finance that they got the grant. So they're due for this. boom, 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 boom. You handle things one time. They get money to go and pay off that. Well, up to them to pay off the bills or whatever. But again, they grant money and again they shot. And you're done with that. I don't know what's so hard about that.
What's so hard?
What is really running Trinidad?
Nadia Mongol. Nadia was here before?
No.
You know Nadia? I think Nadia knew, man. Nadia, I think Nadia knew his family, you know. Because I feel
I don't know what is so hard. You know, people suffering, they need funds now. And you have to put money in the economy now. You have to generate something where people can spend money now. You understand? And to get people back out to work. And you have that. And I want to see how we handling opening school. Are you going to send these people out, these children out there unvaccinated to co-mingle with each other? You think they're really gonna not hug each other and high-five each other and all that? That's, you're looking for spike there, and then they're gonna leave the mingling in the school population and go back home to their household. What you think gonna emerge there, Anselm? The Delta, Gamma, Alpha, Lambda, all kind of variant. I ain't no scientist. Me is just a poet. I could put words together. I could tell you all kind of variant will come out there. And you want to send people back to school unvaccinated? I don't know now. I ain't know.
Yeah, but Diana, let me listen to Tommy again. We played this one before, but this was our boss one. Diana like this one too bad. Diana said she want to meet this fella.
A man who goes nowhere, but the man must be able to satisfy she. If it's the application, the woman gets so frightened, she lock up the door, and inside about 6 o'clock in the evening, she hear knocking downstairs. When she opened the door, waking up a man in a wheelchair. She said, where do you, did I say? He said, yes. You say, I want a man who don't lash, a man who goes nowhere, and the man will be able to satisfy her. He said, well, explain it. He said, first of all, I have no hands. I will never lash you. Look, I have no feet. Me ain't going nowhere. He said, I can understand that. But how you satisfying me? He said, where you feel I was knocking the door with?
You get his phone number yet? You get his phone number yet?
Yeah, I don't call Tommy. I ain't called Tommy yet. I don't call him.
I want Tommy phone number. What the fella phone number?
No, I don't call him. Nadia said, no, I'm not new. I was watching show, so good job, sir. Thank you so much, Nadia. We like to welcome. Everybody new. What is my dog putting in here? 18.
Again. He pout and he sleep. Well, go sleep, Ron. Bye.
No, not Ron. My dog. What my dog put in there? What's them 3-word emojis? What's that one? I don't understand.
What my dog over there? I don't know.
I know what 18. Anybody know what that is? My dog. You see that?
Rated 18, I think something.
No,
like
that's
that.
why his name is My Dog. It's My Dog.
Yeah.
My Dog. I was in sentence one time. Was that WZYE up there? Was that?
No, I think they're missing a patient.
I'm missing them, no patient, you know. I see you.
I think they're missing a patient.
Yeah, I was walking on Frederick Street one day and I see somebody look like Ron, you know, close Frederick Street up there, close to where I think right across from WZYE. I see somebody look like Ron. Ron, you remember that?
Oh, Lord. Anyway.
What you say? Listen to him, Diana. Listen to him. That joke still, like the food others eat sometime. Run again, you know.
Okay, Ron. Lullaby and good night.
Yeah, Ron. That's why. Yeah, hey, all right. Let me see if I had that one. Hold on, I think no, I get rid of that one. Oh yeah, here it is.
Boss, 3 more.
3 more? I'm tired of the whole time up in here sending people in hell. 3 more? Alright. Last 3, send them in. You, come here. What you do?
Boss, as a murderer, I kill real people.
You murder people? Straight in hell. We need you in here. Get in. You, come here. What you do?
Boss, I real rape man, man.
There's a raper man? We need people like you in here. Get in. You're fit for jail. You, come here. Where you from?
Dog, I'm from Trinidad, dog.
Trinidad?
You go to heaven, but you don't pass through hell already.
Ron say next tail one.
Cheesesteak. Don't forget when we have cheesesteaks. I bring out the kind of people start to. I don't say them in the background with you. That's the case, you know.
Ron say next tail one.
Run like a little baby, you know, boy. Look, my dog say that one was bad. Right. Hey, all right. Let me quickly let me see. That prime minister went a little too long, but let me see. Oh, you have any bag of tricks here? Hold on, earlier. We have. Always see this fella. We always see the fella pulling bull in the Olympics.
Yeah, that's still.
Right. Now, always see this one though. Look this one.
Father, I have a confession. What is it, dear? Last night, I almost cheated on my husband. We undressed, but all we did was touch. Touching is the same as putting it in. So you have sinned. Never see that man again and leave a donation as you leave. Okay, I promise I'll never see him again. Hey, you didn't leave a donation. You just touched the box. But touching is the same as putting it in, remember?
Run everything without. Oh, look how good one here. Look how good one here. She just touched the box. Look how good one.
So what is that?
And of all the meals in this country, there's nothing different and special about doubles.
Doubles was a poor man food a long time ago. Let me tell you nowadays, it's ain't really so. Doubles was a Indian thing, so they used to say. Now Africans selling doubles and they getting paid. I see the white man and the Chinese, big stars on the movies. Welcome to TNT, begging for victory. Even the police and the vagrants, we're sweeping on the street. Them man all find doubles so tasty and sweet. Yeah, then make a triple for me, I'm ready to eat. Oh gosh, plenty pepper in the channel. Give me another one, I'm feeling the heat. Plenty pepper in the channel. With shadow belly sauce, it till your belly busts. I know you're bound to agree. Doubles is a favorite delicacy.
A quick one by Casey, boy. You like that one? I like that one too bad, but yeah. When you come into the village, boy. Yeah.
Too bad.
And listen,
you see that too.
Yeah. We wanna honor brother resistance, and we wanna say this.
And also Winston Soso.
Right, Winston Soso, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah.
You wanna take that.
To stop all this humiliation, I can't take that. Wake up in the morning, more frustration, I can't take that. No, ain't taking that soon, ain't taking that. Ain't taking that soon, ain't taking that.
Ain't taking that, boy. But look, we partner Alexander, and we play the one the other day with Alexander and Wakaman, right? Or you listen to
Yeah, we don't want.
Say
That's stale. That's
no, not that one. This one, you have a different one. We had this one.
Say yes. Turn all corrupted officers. Turn all liberal-minded. It's fire. Wakaman say so. Hey. Less than and the man they call Alexander. One is a bullet. The next one is a corrupted officer. Hey. Less than and the man they call Alexander. One is a bullet. The next one is a corrupted officer. Yeah. Less on your face long like a cohong mess. Come to Wakaman, none of all your card tests. Malon tell me all what he see. Alexander was jamming and grabbing your bum seat. Malon say Alexander real soft. Leston say they take all the clothes off. To feel a strong man, hold on to him and put the dead wood inside the body.
You're going to get banned from YouTube. You keep it up.
Yeah, boy. I don't want that in truth, boy. I know joke. I know joke, boy. Let me see what else we have here, boy. We have we had the minister Coxon. I want to hear that.
What she do now?
No, when the fire was, and she talked about the fire and the people didn't want to see her. That was a whole one though. But we are ready. That's TT Travel Pass. So let me quickly read some more comments here and then we're gonna get ready to wrap up. Let me see. Yeah, he said the man refused to see. Oh God.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
You see it?
Oh
God. And I can't read that. Yeah, Randy Ramsey said the man refused to see Donald Cox. Not scared. Oh, Rowley said Wakaman do a new video. It's called Wakaman versus Marlon. Rose said look trouble. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. She stick by no joking about. I know what I do with that, boy. I misfire it, boy. I like the Red Army Reloaded, boy. That could be the Red Army misfire. Yeah, my dog said it's the first time he seen that one. That one take the cake, boy. Yeah, that cake said, all have a phone line, or we want to call in. We actually had 3 phone lines, but we don't about no phone line, man. We go do calling, We actually go do calling at some point in time. We actually, yeah, Haley, correct, you know. But resisting our futuristic style, real. Ron says, well, no, I will appreciate. After the man dead, you got appreciate him, Ron? Ray still say Alexandrian kryptonite. Nadia says, lovely that night, exactly. Rowley say Wakaman is kicks. Yep, Ray still said people ain't taking that, so here old tune. Yeah, boy, that is real, no, boy. Because he's better resistance. My dog crazy always coming out unexpected. Yeah. Big tune, boy. Big tune. Read Rowley comment. Ellis says, Ellis have a joke. Ellis LeBron have a joke. Put it in the chat now. Let's just have a joke. What crazy eating double sense? He sing if First time I hearing this song, she says like first time I hearing that song. Yeah, when I come into the village, you get a little knowledge and first time thing, man. Rowley say I want to go to Caravana. I feel like boy. 3-6 in answer, that one still. Which one? The second one? Yeah, one say I hear them jokes on police used to wear short pants. Police does still wear short pants in Trinidad. So them still hearing that joke. Oh God. Oh, John hesitation joke, Melissa says. Okay, and some please don't runs Oryx is and some please don't go to send Miss Diana the thing I sent you, please. Okay. Yeah. I want Oryx. Yeah. Mark Daniel says, and somebody just get them thing. But I'm gonna lie earlier. You see how the work we just do to put in this pool. We're working. I will tell you always, we're working. All I just see we come here and sit around, just upload video and thing. But it's work for somebody like Waka man. Hey, wait, Caravana is tomorrow? Haley? Caravana is tomorrow?
Not sure.
You know that, huh?
I ain't sure.
Who say Caravana is tomorrow? Rowley Toronto. Caravana is tomorrow?
What's that?
Toronto is tomorrow.
No, I know. I haven't had a chance to catch up on all these
I
things.
think it might be this weekend coming up.
I still deal with struggling people and out here.
Yeah. Run the MCC next still one.
Look at that video I sent you with Dr. Hines talking about they're not how to say have the accurate data on who was vaccinated and if people died and if they were vaccinated, they don't seem to be logging all this information and having it,
Yeah, Caravana is tomorrow. Somebody said, yeah.
And it's tomorrow. No data on COVID breakthrough. Boy, I done mess up with that tune I played with Wakaman already. I'm gonna go and play that one now for we to get a double thing, eh?
But I don't see nothing offensive about that. They're just telling the truth, eh?
It's a long one, Gary. Long show. Come on.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Come on,
Alright, say like you're getting it right. Your audio song and powerful. Alright, all we trying to do is to get better and better. That's all we trying to do. As the week goes on, try to get better and better. All right, so here it is. Haley, put your closing comments in the chat, please. Haley and Ray Stealth, put all your closing comments in the chat. We like to have someone in the chat close the program. So put your closing comments in the chat. Did I close with Haley before? I don't think so. Sure. No, because taking notes, 7. And Ray Stealth Bomber. Hey, wait, before we go. STEALTH. Ray Stealth Bomber. Hold on. Before we go. All you watch this, eh? I think this is the first time in the history of the Olympics. Jamaica come 1, 2, 3 in the women's 100 in the Olympics. Imagine that, man. 1, 2, 3, boy. Right? I wonder if we could ever get to the point where we get somebody just in the final. I think Michelle Lee, he made the final last time, boy. I ain't sure now. But 1, 2, 3, all you know how much money Jamaica putting into them sports? And most of those young ladies, right? Sherian Fraser is home trained. I think Sharika Jackson is also, I think, right? Most of these athletes in Jamaica are actually home trained. They all train in Jamaica, right? And very, very successful. We could have the same type of program in Trinidad and Tobago. Exact type of program in Trinidad and Tobago. But you know.
Ray said Trinity women like to whine too much.
Who said that?
Ray.
Who?
Ray. Ray.
Ray Stout. And all they have a food drive going on in Upper Passy Street, Laventille. St. Barb's Police Post. The corner of St. Barb's and Laventille Road. So if all you have a little thing or they want to donate, or they could call the MP for Laventille West, not Chumacac Laventille. Because I don't know. But that is a good cause. All right, let me quickly reach out and then we're gonna close.
So my partner doing something good down there.
Yeah, that's why I highlighting it, boy. That's why I highlighting it.
I mean, the man taking a little hint from this side. You know what I mean?
You will run say. I can win first, second, and third in a drinking competition. You ain't getting no medals for that, boss.
Oh Lord, Ron, go home, go sleep.
Yep. We want more days for this program. The Jamaican men did it. All right, so we want more days for this program. The Jamaican men did it too some time ago, some years ago. And you know, we Jamaica making the Caribbean proud, you know. Yeah, Jamaica put up on big bad America, you know. The richest young lady, she was the favorite to win, you know. But the woman they banned because she smoked some weed, she should have been there, boy.
Blessing?
No, Sharika. No, Blessing.
Sharika.
No, Sharika. You're Sharika. Yeah. Look. Yeah, but no, blessings get busted. You know what she get busted for?
Growth hormone.
Yeah, growth hormones, you know, boy. That was kind of sad, boy. 32 years
sometimes
ago.
Sometimes those things are found in birth control and stuff, you know, so you gotta be careful.
Well, I mean, trust me, Blessing is 32. I think Blessing taking the birth control.
She probably don't have any kids, yeah.
Yeah, but
I was taking birth control at 32.
Now, but Diana, when you talk about growth hormones in track and field, it's predominant. It's something that they just do, and it's kind of a thing you go on a kind of a cycle. And she was supposed to cycle off, and she didn't cycle off. You know, and it's sad. You know, and you know, the girl is 𝗧𝗂𝗲𝗏 Richardson. 𝗧𝗂𝗲𝗏 Richardson. That's the young lady, but she make more money not going to the Olympics, right? By getting banned for weed. Yep. So, folks, of course, it's in the village with the dark triplets. Wait up. I told Haley and Raystel to put closing comments in there. The chat going so fast.
I see Haley coming.
Did you see them?
No.
I didn't see them now.
Big SOS party tonight.
Yeah.
Police still outside bathing from the barrel next door. Haley, please put a closing comment in there. Something pertaining to the show.
Yeah, and Ray Stout. Yeah, Vonnie, good night. Vonnie, good night. See you Tuesday, man.
Oh, yeah, here's Haley. Let's see this.
Any payment?
Yeah, there's him.
Okay, right. Ray Stout bomber. Put something in there. I mean, put your comment in the chat. Don't touch the box. Don't touch the box. Oh God. So, folks, of course, Ray, put a closing comment. What part of that you can't understand? You see what he put? It's true, Melissa.
Shouldn't be going in. You're dealing with.
Yeah. Wall-of-Fame nuts come in. He come in there.
Yeah.
Like he nuts didn't sell out. Huh?
Gary think I to sleep all day and then jump up at 7, you know. Gary has been going busy all day long, you know.
All day that. Ellis said we had a boxer.
I don't think that is a party animal. I don't.
Yeah. Look, Ellis said we had a boxer who used to beg the government for boxing gloves. Only when they get gold, them Trinidaders want to drive them all over the place.
Anyway, I gotta say good night, guys. I gotta split. I'll talk to you guys.
See?
All right. Well, guys, closing words before you go now.
Go on.
You go? All right. My dog said good night all. Stay safe. This show gets better with time and continues to fulfill everyone's time. Informative, constructive, and we rationalize with destructive. Stay safe. God bless. We go make it. Full 100. Wait now. Rachel says I'm very shy. But it's just a comment in it. So wait now. Raise a man or a woman?
I don't know.
You can see the picture, the avatar.
Me?
Raise a man or a woman? A man can be shy, Dana?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, in the words of Winston Churchill, you have enemies. Good. That means you have stood up for something in your life. Winston Churchill. From where I said this is it, the clock on the wall said that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent, and talent does not work hard. And for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. See you. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel. My dog say, raise a man. So the man does blush. Yeah, go ahead, Diana.
Just want to be brief tonight. We come into the world defenseless and vulnerable, and a vaccine schedule is set up for us. It's set up at intervals like from birth to 6 years old. This vaccine schedule was created to be beneficial for children. So those of you who may be hesitant to take in the vaccine, consult with your physician, and if you have a personal reason, health reasons, you've taken vaccines in the past and you're still here. So just to get the economy going again, which I'm fighting for you, that you can make, earn a living again. Just consider taking the vaccine. At least it may save you from becoming seriously ill, and perhaps having to be hospitalized in a high dependency unit. So just consider taking that vaccine. To help the economy kickstart again. That's all I have to say tonight. Auf Wiedersehen until we meet again.
Okay. That is it. Thank you so much, Diana. Ray still in for no closing commenting. But let me read 2 comments before I go. Ray said if I was a killer, I wouldn't be in that chat typing. Good night, Carice. Good night to you as well. Ron, nobody asked Ron for a closing comment.
All right, but Ron put it.
He put it in. Let me read it. He asked him before. That boy don't listen. He had to be like little Jack Horner, and he had to go in a corner. Closing comment. Many people will be scared if they saw in the mirror not 3 faces, but their character.
Not their faces. Not their faces, but their character.
Not their faces, but their character. Ron, that's not bad enough. I think that's the best thing you wrote all since you've been in this chat.
and that there should be THEIR.
I think that's the best thing you wrote since you've been in the chat. Let me go back to I think, yeah, I read that. Let me go back and get I had to go back and get Haley's closing comments. Hold up. Oh, here it is. Ulrich says, I'm so happy you didn't stoop to Mr. Brown level the other night. Yeah. We keep it real in the village, Ulrich. You know how it is. When you come in, we had to said, a one-on-one with Mariana wrong that went wrong. So Haley says, have a good, awesome weekend with your family, everyone. Turn bad energy into good. And don't forget to smile when you see the sunshine. Thank you very much, Haley. And that's it, folks. We're going to go out tonight with, let's go out tonight with, what's his name? I Love My Country. All right, folks. See you. Take care.
pledge to serve my country, Tobago and Trinidad. I pledge, now that she needs me, I will work hard. Now let's get down to serious work. Stop your crying, Lord. Things hard in Trinidad, and bring back the ship afloat. No denying God. Things bad, bad, bad in Trinidad. If I work with you, brother, you work with me. Together we could rebuild sweet tea in a gesture of love. Let us all join our hands and sing. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I pledge to serve my country, Tobago and Trinidad.
𝗹95.9 FM, Maplewood, New Jersey.